You know that feeling when your mind is like a web browser with just way too many tabs open? Yeah. If that's you, you are definitely not alone. In this explainer, we're going to talk about finding that close button, drawing on the fantastic work of Edward S. Lewis. It all seems to start with a question just like this, doesn't it? You're lying there in bed, everything's quiet, and bam! Your brain decides now is the perfect time to replay that one conversation from 3 days ago, word for word. Oh yeah, I have so been there. If that sounds even a little bit familiar, you are in exactly the right place.
And it's not just a nighttime thing, is it? It's that feeling you're with people you love, but in your head, you're a million miles away, already planning tomorrow. Or how about when a quick 5-minute check on your phone somehow becomes a full hour-long dive into a rabbit hole? Look, these aren't you failing at life. These are just the classic signs of a high-functioning, overthinking mind at work.
So let's get one thing totally straight, right from the get-go. If your mind just refuses to quit, the problem is not that you aren't trying hard enough to relax. In fact, it might be the complete opposite.
I absolutely love this metaphor because it is just so spot on. You can shut the laptop, you can leave the office, you can put your phone on silent, but your internal operating system, your mind, it just keeps on running all the programs in the background. That readiness to jump on any email, the nonstop analysis of every little thing you said, the planning, it's all still humming away.
Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting. What if the reason you can't find that sense of calm isn't some psychological quirk, but it's actually biological? What if stillness itself actually feels dangerous to your body?
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? We are experts, absolute pros, at being on. We know what tension feels like, we know what a deadline feels like, we know readiness like the back of our hand. We speak that language fluently. But ease, stillness, for a lot of us, that's a foreign language we've never really learned.
And this really breaks it down, right? On one side, you have tension, readiness, activation. That is the world of doing, of getting ready, of surviving. And then on the other side, you have ease, stillness, peace. That's the world of just being. The central idea here is that we have spent so much of our lives on the left side of this equation that our bodies have literally forgotten how to live on the right.
So here is the crucial takeaway. Your overthinking is not some kind of character flaw. It's a signal. For a nervous system that has learned over years and years that motion equals survival, well, stillness can feel like a threat. Quiet can feel suspicious. Your body is literally asking, hey, why isn't anything happening? Am I missing a threat here?
And what this all means is that antsy, fidgety feeling you get when you try to meditate or even just sit quietly. That is not failure. It's recalibration. Think of it like tuning a guitar. At first, it sounds a little weird, a little off, a little uncomfortable, but you have to go through that discomfort to find the right note. That's your nervous system, in real time learning a brand new, vital piece of information, that silence doesn't always equal danger. It can actually mean safety.
Okay, so if our nervous system needs a little retraining, how in the world do we actually do it? Well, the great news is you do not need to book a 10-day silent retreat, which, let's be honest, who has time for that? It's all about using these tiny, practical tools that can fit right inside the life you're already living.
All right, let's start with a tool called the Poincaré loop. Now, we are all fantastic at step 1, that intense, laser-like focus. But at step 2, incubate, that is the real game changer here. This is the radical act of just stepping away, completely. You go for a walk, you listen to music, you do anything else, and you trust that your subconscious brain is still chipping away at the problem. And this leads to that aha moment, but without the burnout. Seriously, next time you're stuck, just walk away for 15 minutes. You will be shocked at what happens.
And these tools have a real impact. Take the parking lot. It's a super simple idea where you just write down those racing thoughts and park them to deal with later. So if you're in bed and suddenly worried about a work project, you jot it down and tell yourself, I'll handle this in the morning. Just like Sonia says here, it ends those 2 a.m. spirals. It's about acknowledging a thought without letting it totally hijack your nervous system.
Okay, here is another one that is so simple but so powerful. You know when you walk into a room and you completely, totally forget why you went in there in the first place? Yeah, happens to me all the time. Well, that's a real thing. It's called the doorway effect. It's a natural, built-in mental reset that happens whenever we cross a physical threshold.
And what's so brilliant is that we can actually use this little brain glitch on purpose. Think about it. Your office carries the role of work. So when the day is done, physically walk through that doorway. Let that simple act signal to your brain and your body that the sprint is over. It is a physiological off-ramp. So next time you feel that overwhelm building, just try walking around the block. You'd be amazed what a difference it makes.
So these little tools are awesome for helping us find moments of presence. But the bigger goal, and honestly the one I get most excited about, is shifting our entire baseline. It's about moving from just briefly visiting a state of calm to actually learning how to live there.
Now this is such a critical distinction. Presence is the act of pulling your wandering attention back to right now. It's an action. It's a return. Peace, on the other hand, is that underlying state that makes you not want to leave the present moment in the first place. Think of it this way. Presence is the rescue boat. Peace is the safe harbor.
So how do you find that safe harbor? Well, you have to learn its coordinates in your own body. What does calm actually feel like for you? Maybe it's that moment when your breath just naturally gets a little bit deeper, or that tiny little shoulder drop that nobody else sees but you feel. These are your personal GPS markers for safety. You have to start noticing them so you know how to get back to them.
And this is such a helpful way to think about our inner world. A stormy thought can roll through, but it doesn't have to define your entire internal climate. Peace isn't about having no thoughts at all. It's about understanding that you are the sky, not the weather that's just passing through. And that brings us to maybe the most empowering, most freeing idea of all. And it's one that has made a huge difference for me personally. The goal here is not to achieve some kind of perfect, unbroken state of Zen. That's not realistic, and frankly, it's not even the point.
Here it is, the key takeaway. The true measure of your progress is not how long you can stay calm. It's how quickly you can get back to it after you've been knocked off center.
This is what return speed is all about. It's like being a buoy in the ocean. A huge wave can knock you over, sure, but you just pop right back up. A stressful email, a jarring news alert, an old memory, these things are going to happen. They're going to throw you off. Mastery isn't about building a wall so they never touch you. It's about shortening the time it takes to find your center again. Now that is an achievable, powerful skill. And that really just brings our whole journey full circle, doesn't it? The tiny tools we talked about, they give you those moments of presence. They bring you home. But practicing that return, noticing your own GPS markers, and understanding your nervous system, that's what teaches you how to actually live there.
So let's end not just with a summary, but with a practice, something you can try just once today. Find one little moment of quiet. Maybe it's while you're waiting for your coffee, maybe it's just looking out a window. And just notice it. You can even whisper to yourself, "This is what peaceful feels like right now." You're not trying to force it, you're just noticing it. You're logging the coordinates so you'll always know how to find your way back.